some smaller schools, small Catholic schools like St. Francis in Brooklyn, and particularly in the New York City area, there's a lot of organized adjuncts. I think pretty much the whole SUNY system is organized, and the CUNY system, both under AFT, the American Federation of Teachers.
So, what do you have a timeline on this? When would you expect? Does the NLRB set a date for an election? How does this kind of thing work? And when would you maybe start being able to negotiating as a group?
It depends to some extent on how the legalities shake out. I can't go into too much of the legal details just because we're sort of in the midst of it. But our hope is that within the next month or two, we'll be holding an election. And after the election, if we win, we can go into negotiations right away. How long the negotiations take depend on whether we can reach an agreement quickly or whether it takes a while to hammer out all the nuances. And there's a lot of constraints that both sides face. I mean, obviously, the university does have finite resources, and so they're going to have to think about how best to accommodate the things that we're going to be looking for. But obviously, we're going to insist on certain improvements. These standards on every level are so well below rudimentary necessities that are required really for us to execute the mission of the university, which is to, I think the language of Duquesne's mission is to serve God by serving students. Now, the people that are serving the students,
the professors,
need to be properly supported in order to do that.
Well, so as Duquesne goes, so goes Pitt, so goes the other. You think if you are successful, you'll see this kind of organizing effort going on at some of the other colleges
I
and
wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, our focus is very much on our specific workplace.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if adjuncts at lots of schools in Pittsburgh take the hint, as I think they should.
What do you think? I think the whole system is unreasonable. I mean, I don't even. There's no way any union could negotiate what should be, because this whole system is like you're an indentured servant.
That's right.
You're practically a slave. And again, at what these universities are charging their students.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of public support for higher education, because the costs of things like maintaining and building just facilities have gone up astronomically, and so universities are confronted with having basically a higher price tag just to do business in the ordinary way, and at the same time, public funding has largely vanished. I mean, we talk about a difference between private and public schools, but in some ways, it's just terminological. Almost all major public universities get only about 10% of their funding from the state, sometimes even less. So they're really private universities with sort of a tiny sliver of state subsidy. Yeah. And that just wasn't the case 40 years ago.
No.
There was a sense at the federal level especially, that it was beneficial for society to invest in intellectual endeavor, in general research that would make discoveries that wouldn't happen otherwise. Something like the computer. That was discovered through the work of academics who were being supported by the state. That didn't happen in the private sector. And without the computer, I mean, imagine the world now minus every smartphone, computer, server, the internet. I mean, it's inconceivable. But that's a product of public investment in higher education. And that's what really needs to happen, is that the public in general needs to take control of the government in a way that enables them to support things that they actually care about. Because I think ordinary people do care about education. And that's really what's going to change things.
You are so articulate.
It's my job.
Well, geez. I mean, wow. I'd pay you a heck of a lot.
I'm available.
I bet
Very
you're.
reasonable rates.
I bet. Yeah, I bet you're a wonderful teacher, and I bet the other adjuncts, many of them are too.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just, it to me borders on criminal. What these universities are doing, and to good teachers like you And it's only you can tell the passion you have for teaching. It's only that your own internal passion that keeps you, I'm sure, going in, because you sure as heck ain't doing it for the money.
No, it's true. If I wanted money, I could make more at Starbucks.
Yeah, that's true. It's unbelievable. You don't regret your choice of profession?
No, I guess I'm an old-fashioned guy. I don't think of it as a profession I chose so much as a profession that chose me. I can't imagine really doing anything else. I've done other things, but the academic endeavor, the whole project of rational inquiry, is something that I believe in more than anything else. So having it be my profession is the only logical thing for me.
You know, I just saw something here. It says that part-time teachers, like yourself, make up about 61% of the faculty at...
Not at Duquesne.
At what?
Duquesne's got sort of, compared to other universities, is actually fairly somewhat better proportions. It's a little bit less than half in McAnulty College, in the liberal arts college at Duquesne. But across higher education in general, about 70% of the faculty are adjuncts, 30% tenure track. And that's it used to be exactly the opposite in, say, 1970. It was more 70% tenure track, 30% adjunct. So it's flipped exactly.
And just so everybody understands, when you're a tenured professor, you get paid, and you have security, and you have a pension, and you have and health insurance, and all that stuff. So these universities now are acting like as in as ugly a way as the nastiest corporation, if you ask me, in terms of the exploitation of their workers, so that a minimum of the teachers are afforded a good living with the kind of security that anyone should expect, and most are not. And this, again, when we keep hearing about this outrageous debt that students are having to go into because the education is so expensive. Well, it sure as hell ain't expensive because they're paying most of the teachers anything.
And students incurring all this debt, they're aware of it. I mean, it hangs over their heads while they're in school. They choose their major, their undertakings after college, based on an awareness of this debt they have to pay off. They can't spend a year backpacking around Europe or, working in an art gallery or, being an activist or something like that. They've got to get a job that pays because they've got to pay those bills, and that's why it's there.
And you know what? That is such a great point to make, because the implication then is that someone can't follow their dream. Someone can't follow their heart, as you did. As you said, this is, my profession chose me. They might have something that's choosing them, and they're forcibly pushing it away because they're under this horrible burden of debt, and they think, if I do that, I'll never dig out of the hole I'm in. What kind of a way is that to send our young people into the world? This country has gotten so, excuse me, Professor, fucked up. I can say that because, see, the FCC doesn't govern the internet.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
Jeez. I'm getting so angry talking about this, I'm going to have to stop talking about it. So, okay. Is there anything we, the people, can do in regard to supporting you guys at Duquesne?
Shows of public support are always good. Writing letters to the paper in support of us. Again, so far, Duquesne's administration has been really unusually reasonable compared to other organizing situations. But, it's entirely possible there will be pushback in the future. Perhaps if people organize other schools, other administrations may not be quite so reasonable. And so keep an eye on the issue, because I think it's an important issue. We're one exploited workforce among many. And so it's not the only issue that matters by any stretch, but I think working people need to stand together, and adjuncts are, in that sense, just like people working at Walmart. And if we're working together, we have a lot of clout.
I got news for you. People at Walmart are getting better paid. I think it's true. Good Lord. Professor Robin Sowards has been my guest. And wow, what an eye-opening little chunk of reality you have given us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you coming down. So thank you, and all my best. Keep in touch. Let us know what's going on. Good luck.
Will do. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We'll go to a break, and then I've got such a story to tell you after this.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen live after this.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the City Theater, Symphony, History Museum, and the Carnegie Museums. Check out this week's big deal featuring the top Asian restaurants in the Berg. Bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's only online deal site where the deals don't expire. Bergbargains.com.
Gustavo and Vela wants to thank all of southwestern Pennsylvania, the USA, and the world for helping to liberate his native country of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea has suffered 43 years of dictatorship, 43 years of human rights abuses, 43 years of corruption, and 43 years of kleptocracy. Even with $5 billion in oil revenue in 2011, the 700,000 citizens of Equatorial Guinea earn less than $2 per day. A proud Mount Lebanon resident, please help Gustavo and Vela usher in the 21st century by allowing freedom, democracy, and socioeconomic prosperity by the rule of law for the next 43 years and beyond. Email him at presidentandvela@yahoo.com to help free Equatorial Guinea.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual summer guide is available now. Pick up one today for Ben Folds, Michael Franti, The Whalers, and Dragon's Den, the new ride at Sandcastle. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okie doke, we are back. Our technical difficulties have been worked out. That makes me so angry I can't even. Wow. Well, guys, so I have to tell you this thing that happened last night. Jess, you're not wearing any shoes.
No, I don't wear shoes in here.
Oh, you don't? You're always barefoot in here? I guess I've never seen that before.
I don't like to wear shoes.
I don't like to wear shoes either. Okay, so I was sworn to secrecy about this thing, but I'm quite sure that I'm not under that obligation anymore since it happened last night. I don't even know where to start. There was a video taping held last night at the WQED studios in Oakland. And there was an invited audience of about 200 people. Jess was in the audience. And it was a very simple operation. There was a stage, and that's it. There was a stage and lighting and a bunch of cameras. And then one after another, people would take the stage and read the words of sometimes a very famous historic figure like Dr. Martin Luther King. Who are the other famous ones? Or Rachel Carson. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that, people definitely knew of. But most of the people whose words were read last night on this stage were people you didn't know, are regular, ordinary, so-called ordinary people, but people whose actions helped change history. So abolitionists from the 19th century, union organizers from the 19th century. Also, there were songs performed. One by Stephen Foster, which was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And I've never heard that song before. and I can't even think of the name of it now. It's a sad song, but it's about exploitation. And who knew Stephen Foster wrote that? Gorgeous song. Now, the people behind this event last night are some names you might recognize. Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Howard Zinn. Howard Zinn was a renowned historian who taught at Harvard, and his book, his history book, A People's History of the United States he was the one who said, hey, history shouldn't be this top-down famous people stuff. History is made by the people. And so Zinn's approach to history was always listen to the little people and look what these little people do and force to happen. Because history does happen from the bottom up, often. So it turns out that Matt Damon, when he was growing up, he grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and his family was very close to Professor Howard Zinn. So Matt Damon grew up, adoring Howard Zinn, knowing him on a personal level. And Zinn died, I think, 2 years ago now, about. But before he died, Matt Damon and some others who were also there last night, Anthony Arnov and Chris Moore, who is a Hollywood producer. We're trying to think. We think he produced Good Will Hunting. Oh, you just look at it, whatever. They got together with Zinn and said, let's get some of what's in the books, in your books. Let's get it in a form where people can listen and watch it. So they went to a lot of actors and musicians, and what came out of it was, I'm holding up a copy of the movie. It's called The People Speak. And Zinn was able, he was still alive then, and he was able to narrate it. Some of the actors who are involved in it are, and not, more than actors, singers. What are you getting? He produced Good Will Hunting. Okay, and he went to Harvard. So they all sort of were, pals, knew each other. Okay, but in this first effort to do The People Speak in this form, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Danny Glover, Don Cheadle, Eddie Vedder, John Legend, Marissa Tomei, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Morgan Freeman, on and on and on and on, Sandra Oh, Sean Penn, Viggo Mortensen, all of these people, read in front of they do it in front of a live audience, and then it was put together, and it got rave reviews. And has been shown in a number. It was shown actually recently here in Pittsburgh, but I missed it. But it did get rave reviews. So, since Zinn's death, Matt Damon and Chris Moore have continued in their efforts to create this video, this archive of the people's history of the United States. They're fervent about it. And so, as Chris Moore explained last night, anytime he and Damon happen to be somewhere for any period of time, they try to do another hour or hour and a half of this, so that this People Speak continues to grow and grow and grow. And I was so honored to have been asked to be one of the readers. The other, trying to think of the other local readers, there was Vanessa German, who is an extraordinary woman, a young black woman, sculptor, performance artist, poet, activist, extraordinary. Joe Gruszecki, who did his thing in song. Bill Deasy, another wonderful singer from here also. And Etta Cox, a fantastic singer. And I know I'm forgetting one person. I can't think. Is that it? Oh, and David Conrad. Well, who we're saying is one of the Pittsburghers, David Conrad, the actor. Okay, so we all did that. And we were joined, here's the part that just freaks me out. We were joined by, see if I can remember, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, her husband, and Frances McDormand. All, and there was another actress there who I did, Rosemary DeWitt, beautiful woman. I don't know, maybe so there were those essentially 5 actors and 5 local yokels, 6 actors and 5 local yokels, and we got up and we did this thing. And I got to tell you, sitting there listening to these words was so mind-blowing. And I made sure, I mean, obviously this will be put on video. It was taped last night, but it will be edited and will become part of this incredible project that they're doing and will be available to you. It is used in schools. It is used in, for organizations. It is shown on television. It is, and it is simply remarkable. What? No.
The DeWitt, she's from Mad Men.
Oh, she's from Mad Men.
The little kid's teacher.
Oh, I don't know her.
Yeah.
She's from Mad Men? She's a okay.
Season 2.
Okay. So it was Doc Harris also was a reader. And there was another woman who I didn't know, Stephanie Lord. Guys, I cannot begin to tell you how powerful these words were. And I did ask the producer, I said, I've got to have the script. Because I want to be able to share some of this with you. There was a speech by a feminist, I didn't catch her name, that I hadn't heard of. See, we don't know these amazing people that I never heard of, who, after the passage of the ERA, forget that, Cullen, that didn't pass. After the passage of the women's right to vote, what is that, the 22nd Amendment? She gave a speech. And Frances McDormand read this one, and oh my God, what a speech. And the thing that all of us kept saying to each other, so that was a speech given in almost 100 years ago. And it still totally rings true. And it's a speech about women having control and power over their own lives. And it still resonates totally. You couldn't listen to this stuff without having it apply directly to the politics of today, so that we're still fighting the same fights. It's beyond belief. There are people railing at Wall Street from speeches given in the 19th century. And every word they said then, so unbelievably eloquently, applies now. And so you can take that one of two ways. Nothing changes. Well, I guess that's the only way I take it. I don't have a positive spin on it. Because it seems like forever. We do gain victories, the people get a victory, but the pushback never stops. Those other powerful forces are constantly pushing. And I don't think they've ever been more powerful than they are now. I don't. So all I want to say is, I mean, for me, it was just so unbelievable to share a stage with those, great actors, and to be able to, McDormand, for instance, was just as comfortable a person to be with as, I was telling Jess this morning, the first thing she said to me was, "Say peculiarly." And then I said, "Peculiarly." She said, "Say that again. Peculiarly." And then she said it, peculiarly. And I said, "Oh my God, is that a word in one of your speeches?" She said, "Yes. And I keep tripping on it. Peculiarly. Peculiarly. We all were sitting there thinking, and what freaked me out is how the professionals worked. And I mean, Conrad, for instance, we were stuck in the green room for so long. He was constantly walking off into a corner and doing his reading, constantly. And I thought, geez, he's a pro. What does he have to keep doing that for? Because I wasn't. I was pacing around and eating the free food they had in the... I was so nervous and so wanting to just get on and do it. I couldn't keep looking at this stuff I had to read. I read the words of a woman who lived in Alabama when the BP oil spill happened. And she was an environmental activist before, but man, she really is an activist now. And it's her talking to BP. And I'm not sure where she said this, but I read her words. Regular, ordinary people. Unbelievable. So it was just a thrill. And they kept it all very, very quiet. And the reason for the total blackout about it is that they didn't want, I guess, people knowing that all those stars were going to be in one place and have paparazzi and stuff like that. So. And then I told Jess, take a lot of pictures when you're in there so that, the pictures of me with these, couldn't do it. And I, even in the green room with them, I thought, okay, I could take out my cell phone here and grab it. But no one was doing it. And I thought, okay, I get it. They're regular people and we're treating them like they got the same goodie bag I did. It's just the same. So Matt Damon is a fascinating guy, obviously bright as blazes, talented beyond belief and that he could write that great movie, Good Will Hunting, then star in that movie, Great Will Hunting. And he directs movies, and he's clearly a very engaged political activist who's got his head screwed on right. He has a wife and children that are kept out of the spotlight pretty much. He has a true, real existence in life. All of these people that were there, all of those stars, were the most regular people. It was a thrill. A trill. But I didn't get my picture. But I did tell McDormand, hey, I can talk Fargo as well as you. I did. And I told her that when I get excited and I lose, my accent comes back, I said, my son always says, Mom, you're going Fargo. But, so that's what we did, and we had the time of our lives, and that's it. Jess, is there anything else that we should say about that? Huh?
I'll post their website on your Facebook.
Jess will, on my Facebook page, Jess will post the website for the People Speak, because, I mean, there's so much stuff on here, you could just die. You could die. Okay. I think we have to take a break. We're doing it.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Get Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
Saving energy saves you money. Whether you switch to Energy Star light bulbs, install Energy Star appliances, or add extra insulation. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Dave emails me, don't forget it's Bob Dylan's birthday. Happy birthday to... You know what? I'm singing happy birthday to him. Normally I don't sing, but I sing every bit as well as he does, so here we go. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Bobby Zimmerman Dylan. Happy birthday to you. He's 71. 71! Oh, my God. Yes, Dave says, does that make you feel old or what? Yeah. It do. Okay, so now I guess we could talk about something in the news. There's the most... was this story on the news last night about this guy jumping out of a helicopter and landing with no parachute and walking away?
What?
Eh? I have a picture here. He's a stunt man. He's been wanting to do this. Other people have too, but they didn't have the nerve to do it. And he did it. He jumped at 2,400 feet and just fell. But he was wearing what's called a wingsuit, so that his body, I mean, it makes your body, I'll hold this picture up, I don't know if it lets you see, if any of you can see this. Wait. That's like a...
He's like Batman.
It looks exactly like Batman. It's this specially constructed suit. He fell at a speed of 75 miles an hour, and he landed on a bunch of cardboard boxes that had been placed there. Why cardboard boxes? I don't know. I don't get that part, and they didn't go into it. And it says after crashing into the boxes, this was in England, he got up and walked away. and said it was the most unbelievable, exhilarating, although he says he was scared out of his mind. Here's another picture right before he lands. You can see him. There's an lovely English countryside scene, and he's looks like he's going to crash into the roof of this house. Wait a minute. You see it?
Gosh.
Unbelievable. His name is Gary Connery, and he works as a stuntman. And he did, in fact, work on Batman Begins. So, the suit that he was wearing weighs 6 pounds, and it has ribs that are built into that are added to the wings that, so his arms go into these like winged things. And not that he's flapping, he's just trying to glide as much as possible. But I just don't understand how you still don't hit you still hit the ground going 75 miles per hour. And people said they were shocked that he went down face first. But he was wearing a neck brace and a helmet. It's just amazing. So I can't believe. Oh, and the guy who took the pictures of him in midair had also jumped wearing one of these suits. Only he was also videoing the guy, but he deployed a parachute before he hit the ground. Unbelievable. Okay, what else I got here? Oh, there was a story. This is a local story, but it really upset me. There's a criminal trial, homicide trial, going on here, and on trial is a mother and her boyfriend. Why is this so often the case? I had not heard of this before, but this involves the death of a little child, a toddler, who this guy is addicted to OxyContin. And he had half a pill of OxyContin in the pocket of his pants. And then later, those same pants, I think they were his pajamas or something, they ended up on his bed. It was wrapped in cellophane. His girlfriend comes over with her little daughter. I guess the daughter's going back and forth, toddling around, having a fine old time. And then she became very ill, and obviously what happened is she had found somehow in his pants that half of an OxyContin and had ingested it, and it killed her. So the guy and the mother are charged with criminal homicide and endangering the welfare of a child. And I, for the life of me, don't comprehend how that's a homicide. It's an accident. It's a tragedy. Having half an OxyContin pill in my pajamas don't have pockets, but his did, pajama pocket, which you would forget about, and then having a child in the apartment somehow find it, ingest it, and die. How is that homicide? No, well, you can't be. I mean, it's an accident. That's an accident. The fact that he's addicted to this stuff doesn't matter. I could have half an OxyContin in a pocket. I could have a child. I mean, I always say, could this have happened to me? Ugh. Could there be a pill that, if ingested by a child, would kill the child in a pocket I have, and that pocket is in my bedroom, and there's a kid wandering around the house, and we're not looking at them every second. I don't really understand that. I really don't. Unless there's something in this story that I'm not getting from the account here. This happened almost 4 years ago. I don't know what's taken so long here. But so an 18-month-old girl found the pill, half a pill, in a pocket. How's that homicide? So if a kid gets into anyone's medicine cabinet, or every drawer is not secured, or you leave something out that if a child ingested would kill them. Do you know how many times that could happen? And those are homicides? Why have we lost sight of what an accident is? A tragedy. I was thinking the other day when my mother had that horrific gash in her leg at a nursery, because she fell over one of the carts that people use to pick up the plants. I was thinking, I bet the people at the nursery are worried that she's going to sue them. Mm-hmm. Right? Because isn't that what people do nowadays? You get injured. People see it as an opportunity to make some money half the time. They aren't willing to say, oh, that was an accident. So I said to my mother, I bet they're worried you're going to sue. She said, why would I sue? I said, oh, a lot of people would sue. You could make up all kinds of things about how they shouldn't have had this sharp corner. They shouldn't have they should have, some lawyer could come up with a song and dance and get you some money maybe. And of course she said, oh, that's ridiculous. Well, yes, but it's like we don't believe in accidents anymore. There's always somebody who's got to pay one way or the other. In this case, these two people. The guy with the OxyContin, by the way, is the one who told the police, I had this in my pocket. He informed them. He wasn't trying to hide it. He didn't try to kill the child. I mean, we could all walk around in a state of constant hypervigilance, but if we did that, we wouldn't be living. I just don't get it. Okay, that's it. By the way, you might have noticed Tom Sokolowski was not here today. He's in New York, but he will return next week, and I will return tomorrow. Okay? Have a great day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.